G'day, Big V. We are with our senior women here in the finals now. We'll skip over championship women because they do have one more week of their regular season in round 19. So all the best there. I believe there's 6 games, I think. So we will pass over them and we'll jump straight to Division 1 as they jump into their second round of finals. Now we had Bellarine get the win over Mildura last weekend. So now they do face the number one seed, the team that had the bye week last week, Warrnambool. This will be a huge, huge game here over at the Arc.
Yeah, I think this one is going to go off. These two have been the best two teams all season. They've sort of flicked between that first and second place a little bit.
Yeah.
With Warrnambool taking it in the back end of the year, but you know, how good is this going to be? We've got two fairly young rosters battling it out head to head. You've got Amy Wormold as the veteran for Warrnambool, and Bellarine going to have to try and find a good matchup for her to try and slow her down because you know she's going to turn up for finals. Deb.
Yeah, I don't know who that really is, to be honest.
I'm thinking maybe a Chantel Hall or Charlotte Armstrong.
Yeah, okay.
I think they may be potentially. I could be wrong. Apologies to the Storm fans if I am, but they might be the two. But the point guard battle between Georgia Varley and Mia Mills is surely going to be a great battle.
Yeah, 100%. I'm expecting Dakota Crichton to have a big game as well. She was, dominant in her finals appearances with Casey last year, and she'll definitely bring that experience into the finals for Warrnambool. She's a double machine. She can crash a glass, and she's very aggressive in the way she gets to the rim. So she could be a bit of a dark horse in this battle, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think she's going to have fingerprints all over this one. And the other game we have is an elimination final, Ted. We're between Mildura and Western Port, with Mildura going down last week. But home deck is a different story, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This will be really interesting because the men do play afterwards, so we will be expecting quite a big crowd at Mildura. So expect the boys to get down early to this 6 o'clock game to support the women's. When then obviously they'll bring some supporters there as well. So this will be a packed crowd with the likes of Western Port probably not having the crowd that are going to go all the way up to Mildura. So it's going to be very interesting how the Steelers do compete under all the pressure of the hothouse, because we do know the number of teams go up. It is very hard to win there.
Yeah, it's a difficult place to play, but Western Port will lean on their experience. They did it. They did it earlier in the season. They were able to knock off Mildura at Mildura. Mind you, there was a player for Mildura who was missing at that time in Tyra Johnson. She wasn't playing. But these Western Port Steelers are extremely experienced, led by the two Rachels. I don't know, we need a nickname for them or something, but Rachel Winters and Rachel Wansborough, who had huge games last weekend, they prime themselves ready for finals. And I can see, Winters, whether she goes to Vanessa Power or Tyra Johnson, either way, she's going to have a defensive assignment. But the good thing with her is you've got to watch out for her on the offensive enders too. So it's going to be a really, really interesting game, and it's a contest that we've actually probably seen before with this experienced Western Port and experienced Mildura teams.
Yeah, 100%. Now I'll move to Division 2 women here because we got a bit of a different bracket here as sort of finals go. Most of them are top fives or top sixes, but we have a top four here. So we have a best of three in our semis. And we got Surf Coast, who will host the first seed Gippsland United round one. Now that Gippsland will then host the following weekend on a Saturday and then possibly a Sunday. So the lower seeded team, Surf Coast, will be hosting this weekend. It will be an absolute thriller, 1v4. But Surf Coast have definitely made some of these battles somewhat competitive here.
Well, Surf Coast have sort of had, they started the season, they came out of the gate real hot. They were fantastic. They were clearly I would have had them pegged as the second best team in the competition early days.
Yeah.
And they just can't quite piece together their roster consistently. But they have done that now over the last couple of weeks, and funnily enough, they've bounced back to some form. Kim Hammond, Jessica Scannell, Courtney Hollywood, they're going to have a huge impact in this game, and will be ready to try and upset Gippsland on their home deck. For Gippsland, though, they've just got so many options. Tuplin, Mackenzie Miller, Emily Schultz, the Arneson sisters. Like, where do you start with a scout is my question.
Yeah, look, I really don't know. They're a team that can sort of do it all. They got some really good shooters out here. You know, Joanna Watson, 33% from the field. Notman with 38% from 3-point land. Like, they got some genuine shooters out on the floor, but then the genuine experience that they also have here. But then, like, Emily Schultz, like, young athlete who can get around and very zippy sort of player. So they kind of have, like, this weird combination of bits and pieces that come together and work really, really well together.
Yeah, they do work really well together, and I think it's a really good environment to be in when they don't really care if they're having a bad game, but one of their teammates is going off. They keep feeding that teammate, and that teammate ends up exploding. So, a really well-rounded team, and that's why they've finished first in the ladder, and Surf Coast is certainly going to have the work cut out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we look to the second game. We have Blackburn, who finished third, and they will be hosting Wallen in the week one of the finals. Wallen finishing 7, and Kyla Collins is going to just be expecting to do business as per usual. She averaged 26 points per game for the season, so expect her to hover around those numbers, probably push them up a little bit more, seeing that it is finals bound. But, again, that's going to be a matchup that Blackburn are just going to have to try and contain as much as possible and, just try and force tough contests 24/7.
Yeah, well, I mean, these guys faced off in round 18 against each other, so they're going to have the potentially go head-to-head 4 times on the trot. Wallen did that comfortably. Wallen, it looked like Blackburn might have put the cue in the rack for the second half once they realised they weren't going to get the win, but defensively they need to come up, and it's not going to be one person who goes to Kyla Collins to shut her down. It's going to have to be a team effort, and then hope they can sort of restrict the influences of Olivia Dalmau, Olivia Woods, and some of those other players who are really strong contributors for the Wallen Panthers. So Simon Hickey at Blackburn probably has his work cut out for him in trying to reduce the impact there, but the one thing that Blackburn has on their side is several contributors, and pretty much anybody on their day can step up and score double figures, which makes them a tough scout as well. And if they get 3 or 4 girls clicking, they're a very, very hard team to beat and to slow down offensively.
Yeah, 100%. It'll be very, very exciting game ones of just these semi-finals. And look, that'll be all for us. Keep it locked, Big V. We got finals right here. Champ women, as we said, do have one more round of their regular season. Catch you all later.